Hi, I'm Lucy Huxley, I'm the editor of TTG, and I'm now joined by Malcom Preston, a partner at PriceWaterhouseCoopers, and Mark Tanzer, the chief executive of Abta. Fascinating presentation, Malcom, but you did say that consumer confidence has slipped again, which is pretty bad news, isn't it?
Yes, consumer confidence dropped between about April and June as all the bad news about the credit crunch came out, and now about 41% of people are less confident than more confident.
And which section of the population are the most hard hit from that?
The people who are saying they're the least confident are the older generation, probably partly because they've been through a recession before, and also they need cash immediately, and so tightening on credit actually hurts them worse.
Okay, so we've got less disposable income, but you did say that travel isn't the top one to go. It's quite far down the list of things that go first.
In terms of things that people stop spending money on, travel's quite a long way down the list. A lot of things like luxury goods, eating out, takeaways, those sort of things drop out before travel does.
Okay.
So travel's still quite resilient.
All right, and give us an idea of how travel has fared, bookings perhaps like this summer, looking ahead to the coming winter and next summer.
Summer 08, volumes are down across the piece in all three markets, but it's about pricing. Pricing is holding up very well. So for summer 08, pricing was up about 10%, average price per holiday,
right.
Although the volumes were down. But the operators had sort of reacted to that, so they've taken the capacity out, so it's not a big problem for them. And that's, in fact, partly why prices are staying high, because they've cut out a lot of the supply.
All right. And so people are booking holidays, but are there any particular trends emerging? Have we seen any shifts in what they're booking, how they're booking?
Yes, some people got a nasty shock when they booked their holiday to the Eurozone and then found their pound didn't go quite as far. So there's a big shift towards buying all-inclusive holidays, which of course protects the value of your holiday almost completely.
Right. Okay, and in terms of how they're actually, the distribution channels?
In terms of distribution channels, we're seeing last year to this year, the high street was about the same, so about the same amount of holidays booked through the high street. For summer 09, it's actually gone up.
Okay.
So more people are now booking through the high street proportionally than they were last year.
And so this sort of renaissance for the travel agent, why do you think that is? Why are people going back to the high street?
A lot of it's to do with consumer confidence, and there's confidence in all sorts of ways. They want to know that they're getting what they think they're getting.
Yeah.
This issue about understanding the full price of the holiday, but then of course the collapse of Excel and the whole consumer protection debate has come into the fore in the last 4 or 5 weeks as well.
Okay, so there's a real role for agents to play in explaining more to their consumers.
Just making people feel more comfortable about what they're really, really buying, yes.
Okay. And if, keeping on the theme of travel agents, if they're looking ahead to survive this recession, what else should they need to focus on their customers? What else should they be looking at?
The two key things are the pretty obvious ones. The first is the cash flow. You can predict cash flows very, very predictably, particularly the cash outflows, so you can work out what your cash outs are. Therefore, you can work out what cash ins you need, and if you haven't got enough, you can react to that. Okay. You also need to focus on your people,
right?
Because you need to keep your good people, so you're ready for when you come out of this downturn.
Okay, so keep the best people and motivate them.
Keep the best people and motivate them.
Let's just bring Mark in here now. Mark, lots was talked about today over consumer protection, and you've just done a Mori poll recently, haven't you, which had some fairly alarming findings.
Well, they confirmed what we feared, which is that although 82% of people think that protection is very important when you travel, 58% don't know whether they have it or not. Now, some of them will have it because they bought a package holiday, some of them may have it because they bought some insurance, but a lot of people, I think, really don't know. And when we had the XL failure recently, it was very clear that people couldn't understand why some XL passengers were brought back under a protected scheme and others had to pay. So it's a very unhappy situation, and we will continue our attempts to get the government to put in place a universal system of protection to bring people home if a travel company fails.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting what you say about getting the government to act there. It's clearly something we need intervention on, but you said earlier, having listened to The Economist this morning, that he was saying that we couldn't rely on Wall Street or the city to get us out of the recession, and actually we needed government intervention, and you said your confidence dipped at that point. So are you really confident that the government is going to sort out the mess that is financial protection of the travel industry?
Well, I think it's unfortunate that we do have sort of fairly sort of powerless government at the moment in these areas. I think what will help, ironically, coming out of XL is that it's raised consumers' awareness of this issue, and they are the voters and the constituents. And I think we, working with the pressure that is coming actually up from the ground, will try and influence government. And there are people within the political parties who see the merit in this, and we've got to really push the case on the back of a large failure as to why this needs to be done.
Yeah, Malcom, you spoke very strongly as well about wanting some clarity to the confusion that exists, and I think nice phrase saying, when is a package not a package?
Yes, that's not so much about the airline, it's about when within the travel industry some people are selling under an atoll and some people aren't. And there's a whole load of pressures outside of do they really want to protect the consumer to do with running the business, like Tom's, like the strength of the balance sheet, that is affecting whether people have an atoll or not.
Okay. So I think, just to finish up, Malcom made a very nice analogy that agents needed to make sure that when they to come out of the recession, it's a bit like being in the pit stop, and make sure what they do in the pit stop is really crucial to making sure they come out in pole position. So, just explain a little bit more about that and what people should do.
Yes, I made the analogy that the economy is a bit like a Grand Prix, and every car in a Grand Prix race does have a pit stop. That's just the same as every economy will have a recession. The trick is what you do in that recession period. The car that wins the Grand Prix is the one that actually does the best things in the pit stop.
Okay.
The companies that come out of the recession the best are the companies that do the best things during the recession, take advantage.
Yeah. And that was focusing on the customers, just to reiterate, customer, cash flow and people.
Correct.
And Mark, how do you envisage Abta helping its members to make sure they're in that position?
Well, I think across all of those, Abta is a very rich resource for information and advice, whether it's legal advice or financial advice. People can contact us or look on the website and get a lot of information to help steer them through this. In terms of the customers, we've started a national campaign to get people to book with Abta members, book with confidence, and that will be going out to regional media too. And this is, again, recognising the fact that when customers are uncertain, they will go for the big brands, and they'll go for the Abta brand as well as a safe place to buy their holidays. And we need to be out reinforcing that message through the media, which is what we're going to do over the next few months.
Okay, well, we look forward to that. Thank you very much to Malcom and to Mark.